Marvelous. Hello, my darling readers. Take a look at this book. Now back at me. Now back at the book. Now back at me. Yes, it is I, in all my glory, John Steinbeck, and in this week's edition of Steinbeck Uncut, we will be revisiting one of my many famed masterworks, East of Eden. Now, we're going to begin from where we left off last time, which is, what's that? 25, chapter 25? Oh, chapter 25, of course. How could I forget? It's one of my favorite chapters. Now, before we dive ourselves into the passion and chaos and drama that really drive the artistry of East of Eden, I feel it would be fair to provide you some context as well as to set the mood for what is to come. Ah, there we go. That definitely fits the mood right now. So the story thus far, unfortunately, and if you've been keeping up with the series, dear old Samuel Hamilton has just died. Adam has gone to visit his friend's funeral, but he gets an idea. He's going to visit his backstabbing wife Kathy, who, if you've been keeping up, is now the master of a brothel. Oh, and she also calls herself Kate, if that means anything important.
Kathy? What do you want? Nothing now. Just wanted to see you. Sam Hamilton told me you were here.
Hadn't you heard before?
I hadn't.
You know, you frightened me.
Why?
Well, I didn't know what you'd do.
Neither did I.
I expected you for a long time. I guess I forgot you when you didn't come.
I didn't forget you, but now I can.
You think you can?
I know I can.
Maybe you don't have to. If you feel alright about everything, maybe we could get together.
I don't think so.
You were such a fool, like a child, but I can teach you now.
You already have taught me. I learned a pretty sharp lesson.
No. Would you like a drink?
All right.
You know, when I heard you were here, I thought at first I would have you thrown out.
I would have come back. I had to see you. Not that I mistrusted Samuel, but I just had to prove it to myself.
Drink your rum. You didn't think I'd poison you. Liquor makes me sick. It poisons me.
Go ahead.
You don't trust me much, do you?
No, I don't.
From here, she starts screaming at the poor man, so I'll skip to another major part. Here we go. For some context here, Kathy has just informed Adam that his brother Charles might possibly be the father of Cal and Aaron, who, if you've been following along, are the two sons of Adam.
You are a devil. But do you think I'd believe that of my brother?
I don't care what you believe.
I don't believe it.
You will. At first you will wander, and then you will be unsure. I could have loved Charles. He was like me in a way.
He was not.
You'll remember.
You were too hurt to plan a thing like that.
I can do anything. I'll show you what else I can do.
It wouldn't matter. Even if it were true. It wouldn't matter at all.
Let me help you with your coat.
No!
Adam! The boots! Give him the boots! Kick his face in!
The fight's all out of him.
Adam! I hate you! I hate you now for the first time. Adam, are you listening? I hate you.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. Do you know? I loved you better than anything else in the world. I did.
You'll come crawling back. You'll drag your belly on the floor, begging, begging.
You want the boots now, Miss Kate?
Truly a beautiful scene, if I do say so myself. So I figured I would give you a quick recap of chapters 26 to 29.
A recap of chapter 26 through 29. Chapter 26. Chapter 26 featured Adam's newfound freedom from the clutches of his ex-wife, Kathy. He celebrates this by buying a new car from Will Hamilton. He then recounts his experience since Samuel Hamilton's funeral to Lee. Lee then asks Adam for permission to leave in order to open a bookstore. Adam hesitantly agrees. Chapter 27. Chapter 27 shows us insight into Adam's two sons, Cal and Aaron. Cal and Aaron greatly mirror Charles and Adam, respectively. In this chapter, we learn about how different their personalities really are, as well as their first interactions with Abra Bacon. Chapter 28. Chapter 28 is where Adam debates with Lee whether or not he should reveal who the twins' mother is to them. Lee encourages him to come out with the truth, just as Lee's father had about the death of Lee's mother. It's quite a tragic story, so we'll spare you the visuals. The story starts out quite touching. Lee's mother disguised herself as a man in order to be with Lee's father when he went to America. Lee's parents quickly found out that Lee's mother was pregnant, and therefore they started working in order to raise him correctly when he was born. Tragedy strikes, however, as the men in the camp eventually find out that Lee's mother is actually a woman. Sadly, they lost control of themselves and ended up raping her to death. In a particularly tragic and gruesome scene, Lee's father had to literally claw Lee out of his mother's dead body. On that gruesome note, we go to chapter 29. In this chapter, Adam has written a letter to Charles for once in a very long time. The rest of this chapter is not particularly important to the plot in any way, and deals with a comedic scene involving Adam's new car.
What's that? Okay, thank you. I just got a word from my producer that we will be showing you a short clip from chapter 27. Now, for the reason of that, I do not know, but I'm sure something interesting and valuable will come out of it.
Howdy there, folks.
Howdy.
Well, have you guys done any studying?
Study?
Ain't you even read the literature in the book Under the Sea?
The book under the sea? I didn't know it was there.
Well, come along now. Do you know the principles of an internal combustion engine?
No.
This here is an internal combustion engine.
So young to be so erudite.
What did you say? What did he say?
I see. You look as confused as that mechanic. You don't understand what Lee just said, do you? It's okay to be confused. I've picked up a plethora of vocabulary from my life experiences and have interwoven them into my diaspora of works. Ha! Oh dear, I'm using big words again. Now, I like to take this moment to teach you these difficult and unfamiliar words such as erudite, and what better people to explain these words than Cal and Aaron.
Here are the rules. We say vocabulary,
Right, okay.
page number,
Alright.
pronunciation key,
Alright.
sentence, and memory technique.
Well,
How's that sound?
that is really challenging, but you know what? I'm up for the challenge. Let's do it.
Alright, let's do this, Aaron. Alright, here's one, Aaron. Linoleum. Page 331. Pronunciation, lin-o-le-um. Here's what linoleum is. It's a hard, washable floor covering formed by coating burlap or canvas with linseed oil, powdered cork, and rosin, and adding the pigments to create the desired color patterns. Here's a sentence for you. I just finished covering my floor with linoleum. It's from Latin linum, flax plus oleum oil. That's a way to remember it, you know? Remember, Latin linum, flax plus oleum oil.
Alright, yeah, I see you. But I have a better word. It's called bramble. Yeah, bramble. It's on page 334. Why don't you check it out yourself? It means any rough, prickly shrub such as the dog rose. Example sentence? I don't know. They make vinegar also of brambleberries, but this is not so good as the former. You know, a good way to remember the word is just to think of blackberry bushes. After all, the word is Old English for blackberry bush.
Alright, that was a good word too, but I have another one here for you. Daguerreotype. Page 376. Daguerreotype. Daguerreotype. It is an obsolete photographic process invented in 1839 in which a picture made on a silver surface was sensitized with iodine, was developed by exposure to mercury vapor. We can feel her sensuality and willfulness in the first daguerreotype we have of Mary, taken in 1846 when she was 27. Remember that type means printing type or photographic process.
Alright, I see you. Now I have another word, and his name is erudite. Page 365. It means having or showing knowledge that is learned by studying. For example, right now you are listening to a very erudite commentary. Just remember the letters E, D, and U from the word. EDU will remind you of educated, which is a synonym for erudite. Now, before we dissect and analyze the context in this section, let's go through a brief recap of chapters 30 to 32.
Adam finally figures out the car and drives into town to check his mail. In the mail, he discovers that Charles has died and left him a fortune of $100,000 to be split between himself and Kathy. Adam consults Lee about the inheritance since he is unable to understand why Charles would give the money to someone he despised. Cal eavesdrops on their conversation, and Lee observes that Kathy is not likely to claim the money, but he notes that his advice is probably irrelevant because he is sure that Adam will give Kathy the money anyways. Lee announces that he is feeling old and that he wants to go to San Francisco to open a bookstore. The overheard conversation makes Cal sad, and he prays to God to become more like Aaron. Trying to be kind, Cal tells Aaron that Adam plans to send a wreath to their mother's grave. Cal gets into bed and continues to pray to God to make him better. Adam goes to see Kathy at the brothel to inform her about Charles' death and about her share of the fortune. Kathy is skeptical at first, but when Adam tells her that she is only part of a human and that she is simply incapable of believing that there is any good in the world, this touches a nerve with Kathy, who shakes with rage as Adam leaves. Adam later goes to visit Lisa Hamilton, who is currently playing in Salinas with her daughter Olive, who is married to a man named Ernest Steinbeck, the narrator's father. Adam tells Lisa that he is thinking of moving the twins into town. Tom Hamilton moves out to an old ranch house, where he secretly writes poetry. After a time, his sister Desi decides to come live with him. However, she later begins to suffer from intense stomach pains, the severity of which she attempts to hide from Tom.
Let's move on. Now, finally, is the time for our wrap-up, where I will discuss the most revealing characters of this section. First of all, the most important characters of this section are Adam, Caleb, and Lee. Adam is one of the most important characters of this section because of the change we see about him. In the duration of this section, he gets over the illusions he's had about his wife and gains freedom from her. He also manages an effort to become closer to his sons, and through Lee's help, he gets the courage to finally attempt to contact his brother again. Caleb is the second most important character of this section. The description of his character, specifically the jealousy of his brother, and the personality we see in him sets up the future internal conflicts that he will have after he finds out his mother's identity. This is due to the fact that he realizes later that the negative side he has belongs to her. Lee is the third most important character of this section, as we see how important he is to Adam and the twins. He also serves as the messenger of truth when he tries to convince Adam to come out and tell the twins the identity of their mother. The honesty Lee had from his father as a child is a sharp contrast to the lies other characters weave throughout this section. Well, the time has come. The conclusion of this week's Steinbeck Uncut. I'd like to thank all of you for watching, and I got a word from our producers that a Q&A, as they call it, session will occur after the end of this video with our on-site representatives. And while they're doing that, I'm going to indulge myself to a nice cup of Café Noir. See you next week.